stop and give them a hug and let them cry, because that's something that'll affect you for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Abuse is,
Absolutely.
it's a terrible thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Through this activity, intentionally or not, did you share your values?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm only going to ask you a few questions, but I ask hard questions. And I like to get personal, all up in your business, because I'm going to let you get up all up in my business. And my friends that know me know I like to keep it real, raw, and relevant. And this is going to be a day of transparency. That's only how we can help one another. It's just to be honest and be who we are and be the truth with who we are. So I have 7 questions to ask. Is it anyone here who has ever been diagnosed with cancer? Stand up.
Amen.
Looking at my survivors.
Yes.
Amen.
Anyone here who has ever been incarcerated? Stand up. I'm looking at my survivors. Anyone whose children's father have ever been incarcerated? Stand up. We got a lot of brothers in jail. Keep them in prayer. Anyone here who has ever busted the windows out someone's car, slashed someone's tire? Stand up. These are my gangsters in the house. Write it down. I got to be careful up in here. I'm glad y'all on my side. Lord, I'm glad y'all on my side. I'm like a lot of people that stood up. Is there anyone here who has ever lost a parent or a child? Stand up. God is with us. He is our comforter. He is our keeper. Anyone in here has ever cussed anyone out? Now, I don't mean you cursed them out. I mean you cussed them out. You gave them a good cussing. Well, it came from your belly. You cussed them so good. Peter's up in here, my God. I can't believe all the women standing up. Oh, y'all done cussed somebody else. Give me some of hand. Better out in. I'm working on it, though. I'm working on it. I haven't cussed anybody out in about a month. I'm thinking about it, though. My last question. Anyone in here who loves God? Stand up. So it was interesting to me when I read through these questions. I was like, okay, it's going to be 2 things all these ladies have in common. One is that they're all women, at least the last time we checked. The second is that we all love God. But then I come to find out, everybody in here can cuss somebody out. Oh my goodness. So did you guys see all the commonalities in the room?
Yes.
Were there people in the room that you related to when you stood up and you glazed across the room?
Yes.
Miss Yolanda, did you see anybody in here that you related to?
Yes. Quite a few.
Quite a few. Miss Elgidine?
Yes, quite a few.
Miss Judy?
Yes.
Yeah. Miss Judy's still scanning the room.
Miss Erica?
All of them.
All of them. Okay.
Although we all know and have heard her speak and heard her voice and have seen her, I just want to make sure that everyone fully understands why we are here and the person behind this. I'm excited and overjoyed to introduce to you the Matriarch Society and the founder, Kimberly Williams. The Matriarch Society was birthed out of a desire that Kimberly had to empower single mothers. Being a single mother is one of the most challenging responsibilities known to mankind. Kimberly knows firsthand. After becoming a single mother through divorce, she instantly found herself raising a young man in the inner city of Los Angeles, working a full-time job, pursuing personal endeavors, and keeping her son focused on school and out of trouble became another full-time job. Not only did Kimberly see firsthand in her own home, but working with juvenile youth for over a decade, she saw up close and personal the struggle that single mothers face raising their children, especially young boys. Because of her passion, dedication, and determination to help single mothers, Kimberly is recognized as the premier single mother consultant. Through her words of wisdom, she shares on multiple social media platforms. Single mothers from around the world follow Kimberly for inspiration and motivation. Kimberly hosts special meetup events where single mothers can come together and gain the support, resources, and encouragement that they need to navigate through single motherhood. As a speaker, Kimberly travels the nation to inspire single mothers. She is currently writing her first book that's due out later this year. Kimberly is a voice, a source, and encouragement for single mothers everywhere. Her dedication to help single mothers is rarely matched. Connect with Kimberly on her Facebook page at the Matriarch Society and Single Mother of Wisdom. The Matriarch Society is not another social club just for women, but it is a movement of motherhood to encourage, empower, and equip mothers with tools for successful parenting. And I would like to introduce to you whom I have called the beacon of light for young single mothers, older single mothers, mature single mothers, Miss Kimberly Williams.
So, anybody? Oh, you talking about me? Even though I've read that before. Just coming from someone who I love and a dear friend.
All right.
It means a lot to me. So as I'm looking through the audience, what even means more to me than all of you are here. And none of my flesh and blood are here. And I was expecting at least 2 of them to come, and they didn't. It's okay, because everybody's here that's supposed to be here.
Amen.
Amen. And so I'm just glad that I have friends that embrace me as their family, as their sister, best friend. And I thank all of you all for coming. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how the Matriarch Society was birthed. And everyone knows that there is purpose in pain.
Yes, yes.
The Matriarch Society was birthed out of the pain of me growing up without having a mother. They said that when I was born, my mother didn't want to see me. She didn't want to hold me. She just wasn't ready to be a mother. By the time I was 3 years old, my mother and father had gotten divorced. At the age of 4, my mother had a man that had molested me. Custodial rights were taken from her. And then I was left to go live with my grandparents. So thank God for the historical matriarchs, the big mamas, the nanas, the aunties. So for 10 years, I lived with my grandparents and I lived with a paternal aunt. And then after a decade, I returned to live with my mother only to be put out a year and a half later when the welfare check got cut off. She put me out at gunpoint. She didn't want me there anymore. By the time I was 22, I was married. By the time I was 24 years old, I was giving birth to my son, and I was separated at the time. And from that point forward, I remained a single mom. So I never got to see like a role model as a mother. And I didn't really know how to be a mother, but I was determined that I was going to give my son the best of me. I may not have always been the best mom, but I did my very best.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I tried to do a lot of things on my own because I was very prideful. It was hard for me to ask people to help me with my son. I was fortunate to have the help of my ex-in-laws on occasions with my son, but my son was like, he was like 10 kids in one. He was a handful. So somebody would watch him for a couple of days, and they'd be like, you know what? We got something to do next week. So by the time he was 10 years old, he was staying at home by himself because I had to work on the weekends. But it wasn't until I really broke down and said, you know what, I need help. I need support. And I started reaching out to other people, women, men, to give me help and support. And once I did that, it was a game changer for my son. Now mind you, when my son was in elementary school, they called my house, the teachers called my house every day. Every day. And it's funny now because God is so good, the transformation. People in, they laugh and yeah, they call my house every day. Junior high school, they called my house at least once a week. I'd be at work, and mind you that I work with juveniles. I'm a probation officer, so I got my co-workers looking at me like, school calling you about your boy again? And I did everything. I'd go up to the school, old school, because my grandparents had raised me, so I'd go up to the school, slap him at school in his face. You showing out? Slap you right now! Punishment, timeout. I think I spanked him until he was 14 years old. He said I did until he was 16. But his senior year, when I started getting more help with him and support, it was a game changer. And I can proudly say I never gave up. Sometimes I wanted to because I would get so frustrated as a single mom. But I never gave up. And once I started getting support, now I can proudly say my son graduated from college 2 years ago. I can say that he's thriving in corporate America.
Yes.
This year, he will buy his first piece of property.
Yes.
As well as he loves God.
Yes.
So that is how the Matriarch Society was birthed. The Matriarch Society mission is to encourage, empower, and equip single mothers with successful parenting skills. Now, we're not saying we're going to make your child be successful, but everything starts with you.
Amen.
And we all need some type of support.
Yes.
So our mission is to equip women with successful parenting. With that being said, I'll talk to you a little bit more about the Matriarch Society as the day progresses. I'd like to introduce to you our first speaker. So to tell you a little bit about this speaker, and it may sound like I'm a little partial, but I'm really not. She's just awesome and wonderful. I met this young lady 29 years ago. She's 30. I met her when she was 1 year old, and my ex-husband was holding her in his arms. She was hollering. She had a little cast on her leg. But I fell in love with her, and she was one of the most adorable little babies I had ever seen, as well as she's become an adorable woman. And what's very interesting, when we have future workshops, I'm big on co-parenting. no matter how you get along with your baby's daddy, if you can have some type of communication and some type of relationship. I'm not going to pretend like I had the best baby's father. Can I get a witness? Yolanda Brown. We got the same baby's daddy. So I'm not going to pretend that he did everything he was supposed to do, that he paid child support. Yolanda will tell you we used to be fighting with the other baby's mama. My other stepdaughter's here. We'd be all in the street in people's backyards, fist fighting over this cat. I thought I had one, but I was really the biggest loser. But you know what? He's my dearest friend, and he's blessed me and he's blessed my son to have two older, great big sisters. So at this time, I'd like to bring up Miss Unita Rutledge. She is going to tell you the journey of motherhood from a 30-year-old's perspective. Surviving and thriving. Did I say it right?
That's my baby. My baby too. That's our baby.
Good morning. Good morning. I'd like to thank God for just blessing me to be here. I'd like to thank my mother, who's in attendance in the back. I'd like to thank my second mom, Kim, for affording me the opportunity to stand before you all and talk. I'd like to thank my sister, who is not my biological sister, but she's been a big sister to me. My two cousins are here, and my baby sister over there, who is just awesome, working the room, toting the baby around. And I gotta give my brother some love too. Hi, Kelby. So I went back and forth in my head for weeks about what I should talk about. How do I tell my story or my journey of single motherhood? As Kim said, from a young woman's perspective. So it took a lot of edits and revisions and backspace and type and delete and no, start over, throw it away. And then I finally came up with something. So two things I want to talk about without sharing my whole life story, because we'd be here forever. I just want to talk about my journey in education and my career. And how I've been able to balance those, being a mother and being a single young woman. My hopes is that maybe you hear something or something resonates within you, maybe not to inspire you personally, but to maybe share my story with somebody else who's not here, or to connect us and to say, you know what, I know somebody who can help you or can give you some advice. I'll try not to be before you long. I learned of my pregnancy shortly after my 19th birthday. I was a sophomore in college, 19 and pregnant. I remember everything about that day. More importantly, I remember the promise I made to myself and the prayer I prayed to God. Lord, please don't let my mama kill me. I simply asked God to order my steps. Not knowing what the future had in store for me, I made a choice that day to ask God to guide my journey. One of my favorite gospel songs is Fred Hammond, Your Steps Are Ordered. The promise I made to myself was no matter what, I was going to graduate from college.
Yes.
At the time, I was attending University of California, Santa Barbara, and before the fall of my sophomore year in college, I married the father of my child as he was leaving to go to Iraq for 6 months, and I decided to move back to Los Angeles. I enrolled at El Camino Community College in the fall and began working part-time at an elementary school. In an effort to stay on track, I also attended winter session at Santa Monica College. When spring semester rolled around, I enrolled in online and telecourses to make sure I kept up with my education. Morning sickness, fatigue, and small desks did not make the collegiate journey at 7 months pregnant easy, but I was determined, striving. 6 weeks after my daughter was born, her father and I moved to San Diego, where he was stationed. This is where we would spend the next 6 months trying hard to succeed at being a young married couple with a newborn child. I continued my education in San Diego, taking online courses at San Diego City College, and I had plans to enroll in San Diego State. God had other plans. When my daughter was 7 months, we moved back to Los Angeles to be closer to our families. I re-enrolled at El Camino College for 2 semesters to finish my prerequisite courses while I worked a 4 p.m. to midnight shift at Target. My new goal was to enroll in Cal State Dominguez Hills by spring of 2005. Still striving. I spent the next 2 years at Cal State University Dominguez Hills pursuing my bachelor's and working full-time as an assistant manager at the Gap, all the while going through a nasty, bitter divorce and custody battle. As I look back at that time period in my life, I don't know how I kept it together. It was extremely hard. I remember staying up till 3, 4 in the morning, writing papers, doing homework, and fighting back tears at the same time. God was not only guiding my feet, but he also had his hand over my broken heart. Still striving. Fast forward to graduation day in 2007. I graduated from Cal State University Dominguez Hills with a bachelor's in sociology and emphasis in African studies.
Amen.
3 associate degrees, psychology, Chicano studies, and women's studies. And I also achieved a 3.4 GPA. My proudest moment was to have my then 3-year-old daughter by my side, witnessing me walk across the stage. Now, I started to thrive. After graduating college, I knew I had to focus on a career. I spent the next year still working full-time at the Gap and deciding which career path I would take. In 2008, I saw an ad on a bus bench to become a teacher. I copied the information down, went to the orientation, scheduled an interview, and got accepted into the Teach Compton program, where I would teach and earn my credential at the same time. 2 years into the program, they lost their funding, which means I lost my job, and I had to start all over. I spent the next 4 years working with the Compton District, teaching and long-term subbing. At times, I felt like I had hit a dead end and felt like life was passing me by. Again, striving. As my daughter began to grow in age, I knew I had to do more for her, more for us. At the age of 2, she was very active in dance and extracurricular activities. After all, mommy had to buy costumes and pay for classes. I began applying for jobs everywhere. I knew I had a passion for youth and education, and I also had a passion for events and event coordinating. I was too qualified for most positions and underqualified for a lot of them. Still striving. In the fall of 2014, all of my hard work and persistence in applying for jobs finally paid off. I had 2 employers who offered me a wonderful opportunity, and I had to make a decision. I chose a nonprofit organization called Learn for Life, which combines all of my passions. I serve as the community liaison and marketing specialist for the Los Angeles area, serving several charter schools from Long Beach to San Fernando Valley. Again, thriving. So with all this talk about education and career, you may be asking, when did she find time for herself? Where does the balance come in? For me, the balance comes with everyday life. My whole adulthood, I've been a mother. That's all I know. I don't apologize for it. I've built relationships based on being a mother, and I've lost several friendships and relationships being a mother. I'm able to travel, I party, I date, but there's one thing that I keep in mind, and that's I'm a mother first. I have somebody who depends on me no matter if I'm feeling great, if I'm feeling bad, if I'm tired, if I'm sleepy. I have a vibrant 10-year-old, almost 11, who requires all of me at any given moment. I pride myself on the fact that being a mother has shaped me to the woman I am today. I am forever grateful to God for placing people in my life that have taught me some valuable lessons that came through both joyous and hurtful relationships and experience. I thank God for my network of family and friends who consistently support me. As Kimberly said, you can't do this on your own. If you don't have the family, you build the family. You rely on those outside relationships. I am proud to say that my daughter's father and I have a great relationship today. He's one of my best friends.